morning, everyone, and welcome finally to the Brooklyn Botanical Garden segment of our Secret Garden Tour. I am really excited to be with you today, and we've been trying to be with you for several, actually months. We planned to do this at the end of December and decided, there was so much going on. Everyone wanted a break. We would wait and we would do it in January, not realizing that January would become one of the most catastrophic months on record for California. So the fires delayed us, and then we had a trip that we had to go to New York for Vogue Knitting, which those of you that were there, it was so enjoyable seeing you. And then I had a little Mohs surgery on my face, and that took me out. And then we did finally film last week. We were so excited, it was wonderful, we were happy, and discovered that we had no audio. So here we are again at the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. It's a magical place to visit. We had gone, Bob and I, a couple of years ago at Christmas time when we visited New York. We love New York, and we're always looking for something new to do, and we decided on a rainy day that we would go up to the Botanical Gardens. We took the train, it was great. We got there, we went into the conservatory, which we found out at Christmas time is all decorated, and then they have this train, this model train, and all of these buildings that are replicas of all the sites and the monuments in New York City and the surrounding areas. And they're all miniatures, and they're all built out of wood. And then the train circles the whole solarium, and it's just incredible. The plants were beautiful, it was festive, everybody was happy. And it's well worth seeing, and I suggest that if you get a chance, you do it. We've put a link in this particular video. You won't be able to click on it on the video, but we'll also give it to you in a separate email. And you can see the train and how it works, and we'll include some pictures as well. Again, it's a sight worth seeing. So I'm going to get to the chase right away. I'm going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to show you the sweaters this month that we're going to be doing. Everybody's been asking me, so here it comes. This month I'm featuring Jade Sapphire Cashmere. Jade Sapphire is a company that I carried many, many years ago. I love their cashmeres, they're hand dyed, and I'm bringing them back. We're going to be featuring 3 different kinds, okay? They're all her 100% cashmere. There is a 12 ply, and then there is a 6 ply, and there's also an 8 ply. You have your choice of any one of these, and you'll see now why I'm giving you these wonderful choices. So in the late 90s, my husband was traveling, my husband Bob, was traveling to Russia. And he was gone a lot, and I had this beautiful hand-dyed cashmere, and I decided I wanted to knit him a sweater. Now he's had, in our 54 years of marriage, I've knit him 2 sweaters. I knit him one right before we got married, which is the big no-no, but the marriage did last, which is always said that if you knit before you get married, if you want him, you won't get him. If you don't want him, knit him the sweater. But it worked. I knit him a beautiful fisherman's sweater. And then I decided in 1998 that I would knit him this sweater. So this is a Missoni pattern out of one of the Filatura books that were out in the 80s and the 90s. It's an incredible piece. It uses several different colors of hand-dyed, so I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 different colors of the hand-dye, and then I used a main color. And I suggest on this that you choose your colors out of the Jade Sapphire palettes, and then you use either a Dolce or a Classica DK, depending on what weight you choose in the Jade Sapphire for the solid color. Because anything that's hand-dyed is never going to have this deep and solid of a feeling. So I think it's very important. And the way that this has worked is this is all done with stranded knitting. So you start out, and you've got the purple section and the black section, and you just go across. You slip stitch across, you carry the yarn, and all these different patterns emerge. It's not hard to do. because you're always carrying the black. The gauge is wonderful and it stays unique throughout the whole piece. So again, it's not difficult to do. If you like this kind of knitting, you could just do color block with this as well, this same shape. I did this one with a shawl collar and buttons. Could be a pullover just as easily. It could be a V-neck, it could be just a boat neck. You can do it for a man or a woman, it's fine. The weight is wonderful on this. It is heavy. I mean, this is a chunkier feel, but it's delicious. So in knitting this sweater, I want you all to remember that I knit this in 1998. It's 2025, is that 20, I'm not going to do the math on it, but it's over 25 years old, I know that. And I knit in fabulous, fabulous cashmere. The hand-dyed is a gorgeous product. The dolce that runs through here is beautiful. It's still superb. And the thing is that when you knit, the thing that you have to remember is that your time is your most expensive part. The next thing is that you use the best fiber you can possibly use because it's sustainable. This piece is still as beautiful as it was the day that I knit it. And he wears this a lot. Now he is careful with his things. And I know people ask me all the time how you should care for this. I believe that this type of a sweater should be dry cleaned, not washed, because you can't control it when you hand wash it. It is hand washable. And I want you to remember too that going back to the beauty of the product, the cost of the product, when you're knitting good product, it's going to last. If you knit in something lesser, it probably isn't going to last. And I think that it's important, if you're going to put hour after hour into this, that you knit with the best fiber you can afford. And anyone that's on this particular tour realizes that I only show really good product. And it is expensive, there's no question. But you get a good discount and you get a chance to dabble in all sorts of different things. So to show you some of the glorious colors that Jade Sapphire does, and this is just a small selection of them. Don't get too excited. It's really hard to choose, but I think it's worth the effort. So here's a rainbow selection. I think these are gorgeous. Here's what I call the grotto colors. And they're all blues and greens and just remind me of ferns. I see this with a really deep navy blue as the anchors. Here's another set of kind of warm brights, and these can interchange with the other colors also, because you notice in that first group I had a rainbow, but I didn't really have a good gold. Here's a great gold. And again, this could be done even with a chocolate brown. This would be magnificent. This one is sort of muted neutrals and pastels. This could even be done with a stark white and it would be incredible. Just very, very different. But again, there's other palettes. I'm only showing you a small selection. And finally, these are kind of the colors that are in there, adding a blue and a gold and maybe a bright red. But again, just nummy, nummy colors. And this could be done with a charcoal gray and it would be sensational. So this is the first sweater. This is the Missoni inspired. It is a Missoni. The second sweater is also for Bob as the recipient. So he's finally getting a third sweater. So this sweater was inspired by my favorite Italian designer, Brunello Cucinelli. And some of you have actually sent me this picture, but I've been keeping it for quite a while. And this is knit out of our Dolce. I used two colors. I used a gray and a black. It's a raglan sleeve. You can see that. Okay, it has color work on it, and the color work is stranded. Now, I stranded it all the way through on the back. And just so you know, I learn as I go along sometimes too. because I didn't like what was happening here. I'm actually going to re-knit this back piece, because when I got to the front, I figured out a better way to do it. So what I did on this, because I didn't want to carry the black all the way up into here, and it gives it kind of a mottled feeling on this particular sweater, I ended up just bobbining these sections, and I stranded it just behind. You can't tell it here. I'll show it to you on the front I'll show you the front and show you how I did it. Anyway, it got rid of the mottling. So it didn't take that long to knit this. It's a great piece. It could be done as a pullover. It can be done as a cardigan like I've done it. And it's going to have a zippered front and a collar. So here's the front. Okay, zipper's going to go there, collar's going to come around. It's a nice big full collar, and you'll see that in the picture because I have a picture of the inspiration. This is what I want you to see that I did here. So instead of stranding it over in through here, I kept my stranding in each individual little section. So yes, it meant I had 5 bobbins on this one, and actually there was only 3 going at any one time. This one, and this one, and then it was this one, and this one. So it was not difficult to do, and I think the result is wonderful. I've enjoyed knitting on this. It's going really quickly, and I also see that this one could be a pullover. This one, it's 28 inches long. It doesn't look like it's that long, but it is, and it can be done obviously shorter. You guys all know the drill. You can have it your way. We always want you to have it your way. This piece is the inspiration for Bob's third sweater. This Cucinelli sweater, I think it sells for $6,500 to $8,500. We can knit that for less money, which is wonderful. And you'll have better quality because we actually use better cashmere than Cucinelli uses. As you see, it's a zippered cardigan with the collar. It's all done in stranded knitting. It's wonderful. You could do it in the cream with the black. You could do cream and navy. You could do it like I did with the gray and the black, gray and navy, camel and brown, camel and navy, pink and green. You can do any colors you want. You can make it for a woman just as easily as you make it for a guy. And I guarantee you it's a fast knit. I did the back in about a week and a half. And I think I'm going to get it done up to probably the sleeves this weekend. I've got half of a front done, and then I'll get the sleeves done. So it'll be in the store for you to see as well. So you can take a look at it and try it on. The second alternative sweater is a color blocked piece. As you can see, it's done in 4 colors. It has some cable work in it. It color blocks really nicely, not hard to deal with. You're working in sections. You can do it very chunky, like the picture, and then you would probably use the 12 ply of the Jade Sapphire. I'm showing you hand-dyed colors with the Jade Sapphire, but you can go to our website and look at Dolce colors also to do this in. Either would work beautifully. They show it with a big collar. I probably think that most of you would not want to do the collar. If you do, we will have the pattern that way, but it can also be done with just a regular crew neck. It's an easy sweater to work on. It would be glorious in these color palettes, and of course there are many more we can put together. This is just a suggestion that I had for you. The first one is kind of close to the colorway shown. The second one is made up of blues with an accent of green. If you don't like green, you could put a cream in there. You could put a brown in there. You could put a gray. You could even go back to a pink or a purple. The sky's the limit. The third one is a more neutral version. And again, we can substitute however you want. That one could take a really deep chocolate brown. It could be accented with like a wine or a burgundy color, or even an olive green would be pretty in that one. The last choice that I have is the purples and the pinks. Again, that camel is nice there, but you could put a gray in there and that would tone the color a little cooler. You could put black in there. Now, of course, I always like black because I always wear black, so it's nice to have a little accent of the black. Anyway, these all work for the color block, and again, there's so many colors that we can do, and you can have any colors you want in this. I shouldn't open up this Pandora's box to you, but I enjoy doing it. This piece is for my girls or guys who want to knit something really simple. This is a classic knit. It can go for almost anybody. It's a boat neck pullover. It's done in stockinette, and then the detailing is done in reverse stockinette with a little cable at the corners. It has sort of a ribbon effect, I think. Easy to do, classic styling, and you do it in one color. Now here's where you can make a choice. You can do it in the hand-dyed yarn, and the 6-ply will give you not shearer, but a less bulky sweater. You could do it in the 8-ply as well, making it a little chunkier. Again, whatever color you want. Or it can be done in the Dolce very easily. Dolce would be a beautiful yarn for this. And if you wanted to do it in Classica DK, I would allow that as well for this particular project, because you might want it to still have a little bit more of that DK feeling, especially if you live in Southern California. If you're on the East Coast, it's easier. But for us girls in Southern California, sometimes the Dolce gets too heavy in that kind of a sweater. I think that pretty much tells you what's going on. It's a matter of figuring out what you want to do. I also want to say that the Prism trip is in April. We're going to be leaving on the 21st of April, and we're coming home on the 25th. The 21st is so you can arrive and get settled. We'll start in with Laura and activities on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and then we'll come home on the 25th. So if you're looking for the dates or need to set your calendar, please let me know as soon as possible that you are thinking about attending. I will now get out the costs for everything, and hopefully all of you will be able to come with us. We're really excited about that. So make sure you visit the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. We're going to see you next month. Actually, we are going to see you next month in Giverny, and that's the French Gardens. And then in April, we're on to St. Petersburg, Florida. Have a great day, everyone. I enjoyed being with you.